Good. So, yeah, great to be here. Thank you very much, Riley, for inviting me here. We actually met the first time in Asia. Where was it? In Bangkok? Yeah?
In Vietnam.
In Vietnam. Sorry, yeah, you see? Time is passing by. So, in Vietnam. So, I'm apparently not Asian. I'm actually from Berlin. I might be one of the few Berliners left in Berlin, right? So I actually grew up here in Friedrichshain, yeah. So back then it was like very great here actually. I don't know, probably here everywhere was great. You could still see the bullet holes from Second World War here. So I can definitely happy to share some stories about this later as well. But now I'm talking to Asia, right? Like so back in the end of the 90s, beginning of 2000s, like a lot of people came to Berlin, but people also spread all over the world. So personally, I'm like my family is from East Germany, so we always had this this idea of going abroad. And you can see that, for example, my name is Mario, and you find a lot of people who have like a kind of international names in my age group in East Germany at that time, because like there's even like scientific research done about this, and people say that people couldn't go abroad, so but they were thinking about other countries, they were thinking about other places. They crossed the wall with their thoughts, with their mind, and you can see that, for example, in the way they gave names to their children. So my name is Mario, and then I had this spirit, like I always wanted to go somewhere and explore the world and so on, and see other countries. So actually then, already during my studies and even more after my studies, I got jobs. For example, even went to Afghanistan with educational projects back in the days, and it was all really exciting. And later on I worked on projects for the European Union. We started projects where we brought people together in the area of open source and international organizations. Why open source? Because for me, it's not just traveling to other countries, it's also like bridges, building bridges, overcoming hurdles. And I don't know how many people remember the old times when you had to pay a lot of money to use developer tools to Microsoft, or you had to you know, like there was all this like piracy and so on. So that was back in the days, and like then there was this new idea of open source. And I want to start you with this question. I'm here invited today to share a bit the story of FOSSASIA and how we did it in FOSSASIA. But why open source? What is your idea? Why is it important in the Ethereum ecosystem? Like, or why is it important maybe for you? Any ideas here? Why would it be important? What do you think? Anyone?
To trust the system.
Trust, yeah. Why would you trust something more if it's open?
Transparency.
Transparency. Okay. Yes.
Validation of data. When you don't get data, but open source gives you, you can run trials.
Yeah, very good, right? So this is these are already very good ideas, right? And so my idea was like freedom on all layers. Yeah. So freedom we had back in the days. Actually, it was like 2001. I helped with the press corps here, and there was this conference here, Wizard of Oz in Berlin. So the founder of Wikipedia came, and a lot of like people came. Lawrence Lessig, who started Creative Commons and so on. So they came here, and that was like, I was just fascinated about this. So later on, I had the chance to go to Asia, and I did a lot of projects, and I met people in Taiwan, and they say, I work for Foxconn and so on. And so I just like, by being in the open source community, I got to know so many cool people, and I also got to know a lot of the people in the blockchain area. You know, Bitcoin was at 32 euros back at that time. And so that was really exciting. And so on. So later on, I went to Vietnam, and I met my wife in Vietnam, actually at an open source conference. How could it be differently? And we started like to do projects here and there. We set up like large offices for the Swiss Post. They just opened these big offices over there. All of that we did with Linux, yeah, because they said like Windows and so on doesn't work, and we could actually update it, and there are a lot of reasons. So here also you see basically in the middle, by the way, Linus Torvalds, who also support of us. So the thing was then, we felt a bit cut off though, because I'm from Berlin. I used to live like just around the corner from the sea base, and I thought like, yeah, I mean, Berlin is just a normal city. It's probably everywhere in the world like that. Every city has a hacker space. Every city is somehow like that, but it wasn't like that, and I felt a bit cut off. So I got together with a few friends, and also Honfok here, we can see here, and we decided let's have an event, invite all our friends. So that was 2009. And one of the events we did in, please help me here. Well, one of the events was the GNOME Asia Summit that we did in 2009. No, right, I only know how to use Linux. Can you open this tab? Thank you very much. So we started this conference in 2009, where we invited all our friends. And then the friends came from, like, actually back then already from the Tor community, the dark web, yeah, and from Mozilla, and a lot of different companies. Like there was a company back in the days called Sun, even Microsoft, Google. They even sponsored us. We were like, wow! And 1,400 people came, and that was the start of FOSSASIA, and we continued this over many years. So okay. Back here, yes. So okay, so over many years, I don't want to open too many tabs here, but you can imagine what happens here, because what we saw here today is people share a lot of projects. They say, okay, yeah, we did this, and a lot of explanation, and Alessandro went, wow, so many things I have to learn, because like some of you might already be deep inside all these topics, but a lot of things are also new. And this is what open source is also about. It's about sharing. And it's not just about the code that is there, it's about collaboration and working together to build something better, something new, something cool, something that helps to improve people's lives. And we heard a lot about privacy and so on, protection, transparency, and you're all aware of this. And so when we are at events like today, maybe in 2-3 years, some of us will meet again by chance or like on a purpose, and they will say, yes, I heard your talk here today, and you know what, we are using your project, we built a company with it, or something happened, and that's also what happened in this small sense with FOSSASIA. So sometimes I actually have this, somebody who I don't know comes to me and says, Mario, 10 years ago, you talked to me about an idea about open hardware, and because I say all layers, right, not just software, hardware, everything, and then this person told me, oh yeah, I built some open hardware projects, is now used in the blockchain community, right? So what we are doing is also, of course, we don't just have events. We develop a lot of projects. Actually, we're one of the largest projects in, because you have dark mode, right? And you're a real hacker, right, with dark mode. So it's difficult to see. But we have over 200 repositories. We have more than 7,000 people registered. It means like these people actually contributed code at one point of time. And that's what we're doing. So for example, we have an event platform. So it's not really an Ethereum focus, even though we have a project that you can pay with blockchain and so on, but that's used, for example, today by the Wikipedia Foundation. 2001, I met the founder for the first time. Today, they use our platform. They organize events all over the world, and they use our open source platform, which is 100% freely licensed, and so on. So we have like a lot of projects, like also like WordPress plugins. We have a plugin for translations. Actually, how many people here knew about FOSSASIA before today? Yeah. Okay. So they're behind, right? Okay. I wanted to check if more people know about it, because you said you saw the badge. So if you came, for example, to one of the DEF CON events, we also have the open source hub there. Might have seen it. There are also presentations And we also have this small open hardware, which is the badge, right? This linking badge. You've seen it, yeah? So that's, for example, also a hardware project that we're doing. But we also have like a pocket science lab where we use it like as an oscilloscope, something like that. Let me see if I can scroll up here a bit. That's how it looks like. So a lot of different projects, and then like a few years ago, I mean, we always had a blockchain track at FOSSASIA because like 2017, 2018, we also saw more interest in this sphere, the Web3 ecosystem. And even big companies came, like Daimler came, they flew over 14 people to our large event in Singapore at that time. Like the main event is always once a year. And they were more and more interested. But like we got really excited when in 2024, right? 2024, 23 it was, yeah? So after COVID, yeah, we actually got together with the Ethereum Foundation, who contacted us and said like, look, we want to do, the Ethereum Foundation really wants to do not just blockchain, but everything open, yeah, in an open source context. And I think that made us really happy because back in the days, I think this blockchain idea and so on really comes out of this open source community as well. And sometimes, like you see, the financial community is a bit like, you know, separated from that, and they don't see it as a part of open source, but for us it is. And I'm very happy about this drive, and we have like cooperations with the Ethereum community or certain organizations like hackathons and so on, a lot going on. And yeah, also, of course, Vitalik then also had the call with us, and like everyone got really excited. And yeah, that's why I'm here today. I know every one of you is also involved in like startups, in ideas, in projects, and we would like to make this a call for collaboration. Yeah, so we talked today about, and I asked this question about the project here of Gnosis, because online I couldn't find it that it's open source immediately. Yeah, so I asked the question, and what we believe is exactly what you said: transparency, privacy, and all these topics. These are important, and they can only be achieved really with open source. So yeah, so we'd like to see more of this, and we want to collaborate people. What we can offer is that FOSSASIA understands how to run projects like over the years. Funding goes up, funding goes down. I mean, like, I don't know where this stand today, right? Like, everyone understands like things are going up and down. But the challenge is really to keep, be dedicated and to keep doing what you're doing and just to follow through. And that's what we did with FOSSASIA over many years. So we're building communities that last, no matter if like Google sponsors today, if the cloud department of Microsoft says, oh yeah, last year we wanted to support you, but this year we changed direction or something. We don't care. We just continue what we're doing, and we build like a number of models to continue like with the community, and we'd love to share these ideas and practices with projects in detail, and help you to build a sustainable project. So if you're interested, please talk to me. I'm also happy to connect you to HomeFook or to other people in the community if you have like a special interest, for example, in hardware or so. And that's basically what I would like to say. So let's build communities together that last. Thank you very much.
From the audience?
Yes.
Thank you so much for the talk. So I'm just wondering about your approach to fundraising. You mentioned these corporations sponsoring your event, and they are often the ones that are capitalizing on these, FOSS software too. So yeah, I'm just wondering, what do you think about FOSS funding in terms of projects and events like yours? Do you have like a criteria who you accept as a sponsor? How do you select? How do you make these collaborations? Where do you draw the line?
Yeah, Basically, in regards if people, like if there are any companies or organizations that want to support and, for example, sponsor a specific event. Our largest event is the FOSSASIA Summit every year. It was in Singapore and Vietnam, and these days we are in Bangkok. So we are pretty open who wants to fund us, but like in regards to what they can get, we have our limits. So for example, if they want to come and give like talks and workshops on something that is not related to like open technology, that we usually, usually we don't accept that, right? Not just usually, we can't accept it, and that's where the limits are. There wasn't really a company where we say there's an issue in an ethical way. I think we would have to evaluate if we see something like that. But apart from that, we're pretty open. So it's more the question is this aligned with the theme, with our ideas of open source? And I have to say, like nowadays, most companies are in one way or the other. Of course, they have like a lot of companies or organizations still have closed source projects, but they are clear when they come to us, they will be focusing and sharing about their open, activities. Yes. Yeah.
What kind of participants do you have at the FOSSASIA Summit? So kind of, and do the free open source software people in Southeast Asia differ from kind of who you would meet at Seabase here?
Not sure if everyone at Seabase is free and open source, but like a lot of people are. Some people see themselves maybe more than hackers, as hackers or something like that. Everyone has their own idea. I have to say, like, I know, for example, FOSSDEM. Yeah, it's a free and open source event in Belgium every year in February, and I would say, it's like they are more seniors, right? But like more people who are older, like let's say not teenagers or in their 20s, yeah. So I think like the age is already very different, because like many countries in Asia, for example in Vietnam, you can't have so many seniors because everyone is young. Yeah, so like that's one time like the sponsor said, yeah, but where are these senior managers? And like, yeah, this guy is 25, he is the senior manager. Yeah, so it's a bit like that. I think like we have to understand also the background of people in Asia. Like for example in the European system, university and so on is focused on like overall education, and you have this kind of tax. You have tax that is paid for education. Whereas in Asia, when people go to university, in most countries they have to pay, and some countries have to pay quite a lot. Yeah. So when they work in open source, they often think directly already, how can I generate an income? How can I make an income? They have this pressure from their families. Whereas I remember in the 90s, everyone was just hacking, and like the unemployment in Germany was quite high, so people were like, I'm not even sure if I can get a job. Yeah, and it was a usual question in the 90s: what are you doing? Why are you doing this? You can't earn money with this, right? So this approach is different. So we have a relatively a large crowd of young people, but also like the quality is quite high at our events. And I think the events like in Korea also, and of course all the countries have events. The difference of the FOSSASIA Summit itself is that actually people come from all over Asia, and this is quite unique. Yeah, for example, if you go to Japan, a lot of events are in Japanese. Yeah, and so that's what we have. So people travel from all over Asia, and like I can't exactly say how many people are into blockchain or not, because you can be into blockchain and also into databases and so on. So they don't have this purity. You're nodding, like, do you have something to add maybe? Like from your knowledge or no? Yeah, but like, so it's like this. We also have people flying over from India. Actually, maybe like 50–60% of our contributors are from India. It's just a very large country, right? So we also have some contributors from China, but in China they have their own platforms and so on. So we collaborate with the Chinese community, and we have actually live streams going to China, and then people are always amazed when they hear the numbers. So like, 30–40,000 people in China watching the live stream of FOSSASIA, even like, Web3 live streams, but inside China, there's kind of political issue about this. I don't know, I can talk about this, but actually we are overcoming borders and censorship sometimes in indirect ways. Yeah. So, and yeah, we also have Chinese organizations like the Open Atom Foundation, for example, that help us. Yeah, I can talk a lot about this, as you can see, right? I mean, like, it's since 2009, so we went through a lot of yeah, through a long time, and a lot of things happened. Yeah, so it's, I mean, like, it's rewarding, it's cool, and you have all like you learn so much. You learn so much, right? Like it never ends. So yeah, that's nice. Happy to share more, and yeah, like the next event is in March. The next larger event is in March next year in Bangkok. But we're also like looking at making an open source hub again at the DEF CON event in Mumbai in November. Yes. So maybe if you want to give a talk or something, I can share with you the link later. Yes. So yeah, I think good introduction. Yes.
Oh, I was just saying it's really cool that you would allow, say, someone like myself the presentation.
Yes.
That's very appreciative.
Thank you.
I've been in the blockchain space for a long time, so getting back into the community after having done so much work, it's good to see this open source community is still quite strong, and I'm very happy to talk to you later.
Okay, great. Thank you, Julie. Thank you very much. And a big round of applause for Riley for bringing it together.
Thank you so much for all the speakers. I guess I'll just end with maybe one sentence. I just make Ethereum more resilient and be a community that lasts longer. Stop here. Alright. Thank you everybody for coming today, and we still have some networking sections, so feel free to talk with the speakers and all the contributors here.